Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Sound and Soul of the South. Charles Davis over here, Susie Cowan over there. How you doing, Susie?
I'm good. Really
Good.
enjoyed this trip over to Madison County, North Carolina.
Yes, we're taking a road trip. We always take road trips here on this show. And this week, we're taking a trip over to North Carolina to talk to some great people in Madison and talk about some great historical things. So, Susie, you're going to be taking the reins on this one. And kind of what should the people be expecting on this? Kind of what are we talking about in this episode?
Man, it was such a collection of thoughts and ideas that culminate in there's books involved, there's a venue involved, there's a train depot involved, lots of great stories, lots of great ways to experience the music that's going on in Madison County.
Yeah, and the Appalachian history that is embedded in that part of the country is amazing. And we have people on this episode that are directly tied to that history. And can't wait for you guys to hear it. So without further ado, let's see who Susie talked to.
Well, hi, friends. How are y'all today?
Hey there.
How you doing?
Good to see ya.
How you doing, Susie?
Good. So let's just do a little introduction real quick. And we'll start with you, Donna Ray. Tell me who you are and what you've been up to.
My name is Donna Ray Norton. I'm an 8th generation ballad singer from Madison County in Western North Carolina. I'm also an ambassador and coordinator for the Million Memory Project / Sound Archive Books / Appalachian Memory Project and Through Our Eyes. And so just sort of a performing artist that's doing lots of performing here lately all over the place. Been to Montana, Raleigh a couple of different times recently, and a quick one overnight trip to Massachusetts recently. So
that's fantastic. Well, hello, Mitchell. How are you today?
I'm good. Thanks for having us.
Whose rooster was that?
That's our rooster, yeah. I close my window.
No, we're definitely not editing that out. I love that.
Right. Awesome.
it's time to get up, everybody. Wake up.
Yeah,
Oh,
everybody's
rowdy.
this is real and authentic conversation here with roosters and all.
Well, we are in the South or whatever.
Right? All right, Mitchell, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. I live, the roosters, we live on a farm outside of Asheville called Rarebird Farm. I live out here with my wife and 3 other friends, and we've we've been out here for about 6 years. It was a abandoned farm that we've sort of brought back to life and turned into a culture center and event venue. Donna Ray's played out here several times, recorded an album out here. And so it's a lot of fun and a real, I think has taught me a lot about being patient with work and a lot of other things that I'm now sort of mapping over to my other professional life, which is I've spent the last 25 years working in book publishing and library, doing a number of different things, mostly software based. We tend to, we try to come up with innovative ways to solve problems. And if we can and can use software to do that, you can typically turn that into a business. And that's what I've spent the last 25 years doing. So this project that Donna Ray's working with us on is a publishing company, a book publishing company. We're very focused on print books, real sort of paper and ink books, which I think are one of the most efficient and elegant technologies that still exists in the world. And the Million Memory Project is the umbrella organization, and then we have different publishing imprints under that, depending on who we're working with and the kind of books we're publishing. Donna Ray mentioned Appalachian Memory Project, which was our first imprint, which is really focused on capturing oral histories and capturing images from personal photography collections. People can bring images to memory days and have those images digitized and tell stories. And we turn that into books. We also turn it into archives, which we can work with institutional partners to host and make open access, but our real focus is on producing the books. We have another imprint called Through Our Eyes, which is a sort of community image-based publishing imprint. So one of the projects that we did was a book on the 1 year anniversary of Helene, where we organized photography submissions from 46, I think, different contributors in a small town of 500 people. So a really high participation rate. And we published that as a community voiced book with all the photographs. So when we're doing projects like that, they're kind of photography focused. That's an imprint all through our eyes. And then the project that we're putting probably 90% of our energy into now is Sound Archive Books, which really came about because of working with Donna Ray, who's a touring musician, and Kevin Reese, who's the other person who's helping us do this. He's also been a touring musician, and trying to help touring artists develop books as merchandise. And I think a big motivation for that was like even here at Rarebird, where we're booking bands and, doing a lot of shows, we see these bands come through and the fans come to the show knowing that the artist is not making any money from Spotify or Apple Music. And there really is a philanthropic intent on the part of the fans to want to settle up and make right and show this artist how important they are. And, so the joke Donna Ray and I always tell is that people end up buying CDs and never taking them out of the wrapper, or they buy a sweatshirt that they never wear. And I think we just kind of stumbled into like books being a perfect vehicle to sort of consummate that fan artist relationship with their name written in it and a look in the eyes and a signature and just a really good merch table experience. So anyway, so that's the one we're putting most of our effort into now. We've published a few different books and we can talk about those. I'm sure we will as we go, but that's a good intro.
And I think too, one of my favorite parts about the Sound Archive books is, we were sitting in a meeting one day and Mitchell was like because he has a venue or whatever. And so I've been on stage and said, well, we have CDs, you can use them as coasters or whatever now, like hanging from your rear view. We're bringing the 90s back. Let's do that. But then one of the things that came up was like, what was your favorite thing about buying an album back in the day besides just hearing the music on it? Like, what was the best part about getting it? You got the liner notes and you got to learn the actual words that the singers were singing, so it was just kind of like, what if we did something like this? And so it's been a little different, like each book is a little different, but that was sort of one of the things that really drew me to the idea,
I love it. I mean, I think it's so needed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, talk about being storytellers, and we talk a lot up here at the creek about being the oracle, being the storyteller of now. Well, what better way to do that with a book, to tell the story of a place? I love that. So tell me a little bit more about what we could experience if we come to your venue. What does that look like?
Well, obviously there's a rooster there.
I love that.
The rooster was in the building.
We got two. It's interesting. We had two flocks of hens for a long time, which I was very happy with. And then Fair decided we wanted to have some roosters too. So now we just kind of stuck a rooster with each flock. It has been a very organic process how we've sort of arrived at where we are now. And I can tell hopefully a not too long version of it. But we bought the farm in 2019 and it had been, like I said, abandoned for 7 years. So really there was nothing here that was habitable. There were a lot of old buildings, but none of them were usable. And we got one of the little buildings where we could, flush a toilet and turn a light on. And when COVID happened in March of 2020, we were living in Charleston, South Carolina, where we both had, full lives. And we drove up and just never went home. But the circumstances of COVID and my wife had started a nonprofit in Charleston. She had just hired a new executive director. We had just moved out of our office at the company I was doing. So I don't know. It just all kind of lined up and we never went home and ended up selling our stuff in Charleston and live up here full time now. And we started doing shows in the summer of 2020, outdoor shows during social distancing and all that. And I don't know, just kept trying to make that better. And so I think our big challenge now is like finding the right pace, because we've now restored one of the barns into an inside venue, which will seat about 110, 115. And it's, we have saved every building. Like, we haven't torn any buildings down, and we've tried to save everything we could. So this one is now restored. And then we have another stage on the back of another barn that kind of points out to a hill that can hold about 300 or so. So that's kind of our max. We have a big pasture out front that people park in, and I think 3 years ago we did 26 shows. Last year we did 13, and this year we're doing 4. And so I think we're just, as you know, this is a labor of love. No one is, it's not about it's just about enjoying doing it. And so I think a big part of this year has been finding the right pace. And about a year and a half ago, we formed my wife and formed a nonprofit, and that nonprofit operates out of here. So at least the cultural programming side of what we do now is sustainable. She works part-time for that. We have another lady who is amazing, who lives out here part-time, who works for that nonprofit, Libby Rodenbow. She's also nominated for Instrumentalist of the Year, Americana, this year as a fiddle player. She's really remarkable. And they've done a great job with the nonprofit. So that part of it is sustainable. And then really it's just our home. So yeah, it's a beautiful place. We've got rescue animals and trails, and it's nice. And I think next year we'll end up hosting probably 6 or 7 shows. We do tiny festivals, which are maxed out at about 300 people, and have 7 bands over 2 days. And yeah, it's a lot of fun.
That's
I
fun.
say,
It's fun.
as a performer and a person who's been to shows at Rare Bird as well, it's really a magical place. Like, it's so beautiful, and it's like set in the valley of this big, all these mountains around you, and they're just, there's so much nature around, but also you're getting to see these really cool, just have these really cool experiences down there. And there's always, like, if it's nighttime, there's just twinkling lights everywhere. I mean, it really is so beautiful. And like the sunsets I don't even know what to say other than it's just really magical. And there's just for the artists to, have their place and be before they perform. But then there's places for you to be together as a community and with your people. And it's really special. It's a really special place.
I love that so much. So the future of Rare Bird Farm, what does that look like? Have you thought 10 years down the line?
Yeah, I mean, I think that we'll continue to be our home first and foremost. And I think the nonprofit has found like its right pace. I mean, I actually am also expecting to host a couple of Sound Archive Books events out here next year. I mean, one of the things we did this year at Rare Bird while we were doing less shows was started an artist residency. So we had one artist here for 2 weeks and another artist here for 1 week, and we got a grant from South Arts to get some recording equipment and stuff. So people have been writing songs and recording songs. So I think I would like to find a way to weave that into what we're doing with Sound Archive Books too, where if we have an artist who, and this might be somebody at Kevin Kinney would be a dream come true on this, by the way, but someone who, needs to tell which we're doing with Sheila K. Adams now, which I'm sure we'll talk about in a bit, but this kind of create an archive of this artist's career. And I think a lot of that is oral histories. And I think if we could get an artist here for a few days and could do some interviews and have them bring friends and kind of organize that retreat the way they wanted it organized, and then maybe play a small show at the end of that, it would be awesome. So I'm hoping some point in 2027, I'll figure out how to do a Sound Archive Books event out here too, which would be a lot of fun. But yeah, I think we found a good pace, and I hope that with Libby's and I want to get some younger people doing it so that it has a life that is bigger than just us, also in terms of the programming. So I feel like we're on that path.
That sounds fantastic. Well, Donna Ray, I heard you had a special invitation recently. Let's talk about that for a second.
Yes, we had a couple of them. It's been quite the interesting week I've had last week. I got a message from my cousin, Sheila K. Adams, who is our 7th generation ballad singer, but also National Endowment for the Arts, fellow. She's just received all these awards. And she just received the United States Artist Award this year in January, which is one of the nation's highest honors. But she also has done lots of really cool things other than receiving awards. She's done shows with all sorts of different people, Yo-Yo Ma being one of those people. I think that was back around 2017. I could have the years wrong, but it was after COVID. I'm telling a lie. It was after COVID. So, but she did a show with Yo-Yo a few years ago, and she got an email from his team on Friday last week, and he threw together this sort of last minute gathering of like-minded people, and they wanted us to come to Massachusetts, to the Berkshires, to just come and hang out and kind of network, I guess, and just talk about things and how we're all doing. And so I did not go with Sheila on her first trip to meet Yo-Yo and when she was doing the show, but I did get to go with her this time. So we were just up north on Monday. We stayed one night. So we're jet setting ballad singers, what Sheila kept saying. And then we came home on Tuesday, and while we were up there, we got an invitation to see Yo-Yo. He actually was here in Western North Carolina. He was in Brevard on Sunday. And so we received VIP tickets to his show. We got to go backstage and hang out with him during intermission. He is so sweet. He's so gentle and just reminded me a whole lot of Mr. Fred Rogers, And so, and I kept thinking this man actually knows Fred Rogers, and he's been on Sesame Street. He's actually been on Sesame Street, but because that's the energy he gives. He's just very calm and kind. He is also very funny.
Wow.
And so I got to have a moment with him up in Massachusetts, and he was really sweet. And I told everybody that I talked all about Madison County and how he needed to come for a visit. And so I think he's planning on coming in the next months. So TBA on that. And yeah, he's really sweet and kind, and I think he genuinely cares about people. And during his concert, y'all, this is one of my favorite parts. Besides, I got a kiss on the cheek. That was my other favorite part. But my other favorite part was that at his show, we were really close to the front row, and he's waving at everyone, and he waved directly at us, and I shot him the "I love you" sign. Sheila and I both started raising up the "I love you" sign, and he waved and he did some stuff with his fingers, and then finally he was and he shot us the "I love you" sign back, and I was like, we just got him so much street cred, just didn't get the. So it was really cool, and everybody in the audience was noticing that he did that, and so they were like, "Do you guys know Yo-Yo?" And our friend Josh Kopus was with us, and he had taken some photos backstage. So he just gets out his phone and he starts showing everybody these photos of us with Yo-Yo Ma backstage. I'm like, put your phone away.
That's so cool, though.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was really definitely a highlight. And it's always good when you meet somebody that you have these thoughts of in your mind, and are they really that way? And then they are. Yeah. Diane Sawyer is another one of those people that I got to meet at the beginning of June, and she is exactly the way that you would think that she is. She's really sweet and down to earth.
That's fantastic. So I guess I should have asked this in the very beginning, but how long have you guys known each other? How long have y'all been working together, you and Mitchell?
Well, I think since...
That's a good question.
I
mean, really, since that first video, I guess, huh? When I came to the Madison County Arts Council, because you were in that little film. Yeah.
Well, was that 2022 or 2023?
Yeah.
23, maybe.
2020.
Early.
Yeah.
No, 2022. It was
2022.
May. Yeah.
Well, it was interesting because we were new here. We had moved from Charleston, and during COVID, we had ended up on YouTube finding a video that a guy had made in Madison County, which is where we both live, in 1965. So it's black and white. It was on PBS, and the filmmaker was traveling around with Bascom Lunsford, there's a festival for him at Mars Hill, and he's a pretty well-known song collector from the early mid 20th century in the mountains. he started the Asheville Folk and Dance Festival. So it was really the first time people were coming down like out of the mountains and playing music in Asheville for crowds and stuff like that. And at the time, 1965, he was 83 or 84 years old, and the filmmaker was like 23 years old. And so it was that video, but it was also the filmmaker who's now 80. And at the end of it, he was like, people always ask if I've been back to Madison County. It'd be great to get back there one day. And I don't know, Farrah and I both just decided we're going to make that happen, and did. And so at some point during that, we got summoned to the Madison County Arts Council as these newcomers who were starting to tread into historical territory, and got to meet Donna Ray and Sheila Kay and Laura Businger and Leela Weinstein. It was like a who's who of Appalachian. And it was amazing because I think, first of all, by the end, they were like, oh, these people are pretty good. We can probably keep them around. But they also, I think, helped us to understand that like the history of Madison County wasn't on YouTube. It was like sitting in that room with us, and
That's right.
that's what and it really did change the entire tone and trajectory. We ended up making a like 12-minute documentary of his visit that is really, really exceptional. And Donna Ray's the first person in it. And yeah, that's how we sort of, I don't know, started. And then Donna Ray, we did a Dog Gap Music Festival, which was a festival we do in the spring, which is really, its major theme is old time music and dance classes and, things like that. And Donna Ray, Nest of Singing Birds sang, and then Donna Ray also that's where she played with Tyler Ramsey. They did this sort of like mashup, ethereal guitar ballad thing that was like one of the craziest things I've ever seen.
It sounds amazing.
And so that was a lot of fun. And yeah, I got to know Sheila. I hooked Sheila up with some moonshine that day, so I won her over. And yeah, so the rest
That's
is history.
how you make friends.
True. That it was that whole thing with Tyler was just like, woo, it was magical. I still have like it gives me like the warm fuzzies and butterflies when I think about that. That was really cool. And Mitchell has been like, the fact that he and Pharaoh are willing to come and meet with us and talk about this thing that they were doing before they even did it. And I would like to just say that I was also summoned to the Arts Council. I was not one of the summoners. I was a summoning. And so was Sheila. But also, it was just the fact that, of course, we were going to go, but the fact that these people who are from off, as we say here,
yes,
like we're from off at that time, like these people from off actually took the time to come in and like hear us and ask this question and finding out the right way to do this thing was like really spoke volumes to me because, we're a little standoffish around Madison County sometimes. We can't be
protective, as
right.
You should be.
Yeah, when we're not hateful, as we say, we're not hateful or nothing, but like we just want to make sure that people are doing things for the right reasons, because we've experienced lots of times people doing things for the wrong reasons. And so we're Appalachian. And so, it was really special to me that they were willing to do that. And so I immediately could see that they were good people and I felt that way ever since. And then I got reintroduced to them, or maybe Josh introduced us first before you guys even came to the Arts Council. I think I had met you for like a split second because they had come to one of our ballad swaps.
That's true.
So, yeah. And when Mitchell says Nest of Singing Birds, that's the group. It's a collective of individual musicians, and we sing ballads together, and I'm the leader of the group and Sheila's our matriarch. So, and we do a ballad swap at the Old Marshall Jail Hotel and Zadie's Restaurant the second Wednesday of every month, and that's where I think I first met Mitchell and Farrah for a split second. So
I love that so much, and that's a perfect segue in. I was going to ask, when people come to Madison County, where can they experience music tourism? Like, what does that road trip look like?
You can find music in Madison County almost every day of the week somewhere.
Yeah, Marshall really is like, Madison County as a whole for sure, and we're on the other side of the county, so we're sort of bringing it to Spring Creek, which has never really been on the map. But Marshall, as it punches so far above its weight musically, and not the old time is definitely a big part of it, and the legacy of the depot and what Donna Ray and Josh are doing at the jail, but it also has, there are so many national touring, well-known session musicians who go on tour with massive artists who all live in those hills around Marshall. It's really incredible how much, and like it's a town of, a few hundred people, and you can see music there every night. And sometimes there'll be 2 or 3 shows going on a night in this tiny little strip of downtown. It's
It's
really,
like maybe
it's
like
far
3
out.
it's like 3 block it feels like. I don't know, I'm not from the city, so I'm not sure exactly how you would measure a
About, yeah, that 3 blocks, yeah.
it's all walkable, so, like, you could be at one show at this one place and be like, "Okay, well, I'm gonna go down here and grab a chicken sandwich and listen to this band, and then I'm gonna pop over to this place and hear some tunes down there." And it's
Wow.
all sorts of, like Mitchell said, a wide variety of music. And in Mars Hill, there's, Camden's Coffee House, I think. There's a brewery there where you can find music there as well. Mars Hill College has several events that they put on throughout the year where you can find music and dancing.
And
Um,
Hot
Hot Springs.
Springs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hot Springs has Big Pillow, the brewery down there, and there are all sorts of bands and things that play there as well. And then Phillips' store, The Artisan, they also have bands that will come, or well, maybe not as, it wouldn't be as big of a musical event, but they'll do like pop-up shows and things like that from time to time. But they're, and Rare Bird in Spring Creek, you can find shows there as well. So it's sort of all over the place. I mean, it's literally the music is everywhere. And I think one of my favorite things about the ballad singing is it's like one of the, I say the ballads are one of the main veins and the roots of the music that you hear today.
That's
And
right.
so, like, my family shares one of the oldest unbroken oral non-indigenous traditions in the United States. And so Cecil Sharp, English folklorist Cecil Sharp, came through the Appalachian Mountains in 1916. And when he came through Madison County in particular, he said that the people in that area were more likely to sing than they were to talk. And that the music there, the songs that he collected there were more pure and untouched than even the ones that he was finding back home, in the British Isles. And so, I think that kind of says a lot about Madison County. It's very well known for its music traditions, but also it just has kind of stayed that way. It's been a very musical community, for a long, long time. And now just incorporating, different types of music into that, and also art. There's lots you can find art being made. Crafting is going on all over the place. There are really cool stores. I mean, it's just a magical place. It really is.
It sounds magical. I can't wait to come visit.
Yeah, you got to come. You got to come, and we have lots of places that people can stay. There's places all over. There's the Old Marshall Jail Hotel and Zadie's Restaurant, which is where we do the ballad swap. There are several rooms there that have, it's like there are suites and there are bunk rooms, and it's a really cool place. And there's the Marshall House that's right up the hill. There are all sorts of Airbnbs, obviously, all over the place here. And it's a really sweet spot. You have to come. You got to visit.
So what are y'all looking forward to right now? What's coming up for the farm and the books and the performances?
Well, and definitely the books. I mean, we are head first right now into trying to get Sheila K. Adams' book out. We actually have a porch party planned at her house on October 9th, which will be the launch of it, and then a really busy week, the last week of October, where South Arts is going to be here in Madison County, and the
Yeah,
American Folklore Society is going to be in Asheville, and Sheila's doing some book events with that, and a couple of bookstore events at Malaprops and Plothound. And then the first weekend in November, Necessing Birds is going to be at the Brooklyn Folk Festival, and Sound Archive Books got a table there to be able to promote the book. So we're kind of head first in that right now. And I would give like a huge shout out to the Madison County Tourism Development, because I think they really have embraced this idea of music tourism. They've embraced it with Rare Bird in helping us fund some of our tiny festivals. I mean, the one we just did, we had 400 people here over the course of the weekend, and over 40% of them were from out of state. And if you knew
Fantastic.
how in the middle of nowhere this place was, that is a remarkable accomplishment. But, we couldn't do it without them. And,
Mhm.
it did get all the Airbnbs around here rented out, which generates more accommodations tax, which gives more money to do more things like this. So I think they
That's right.
understand that virtuous circle of that.
Good.
And I think we also, Donna Ray could talk a little more about it too, but I think we have, we actually, the lady from the Cecil Sharp, the English Folk and Dance Society, is part of Sheila's book. We did an oral history interview with her for the book. And I think she's very interested in trying to get the Nest of Singing Birds. Sheila Kay did visit over there once. She met her once, but she didn't sing. And so I think there's an effort afoot to try to get Nest of Singing Birds back over to the UK. And I think one of our conversation with the Madison County Tourism Development is that if there's a group of people that would want to visit Madison County, the members of the English Folk and Dance Society would be it, and they could come here and do like a Cecil Sharp tour and all this sort of stuff. So I think, I don't know, we're trying to conjure that up, but
that's a really good one. I like that.
But the book coming out, I think, is a big part of it, and that should
that's
be
true.
So.
And the thing with Sound Archive books and Sheila's book kind of was just like a no-brainer for me. Like Sheila has this incredible history and story behind her, and she's just sort of a force of nature. Like she really is a national treasure. That's and I call her the folk music goddess. That's what I've like. I call her that all the time. But I think like everything that the Nest of Singing Birds does, when we're out traveling around, we're talking about Madison County and trying to get people to come and see us. And so, using Sheila's book as a way for people to get sort of like an inside, her book is going to be really cool because there's going to be some stuff that people have never seen before. Like these are her personal things that she has, brought out and has never shared really with the world. And so it's going to be a little bit of a mix of different things, but just trying to get people to visit. But it's also like the touring that we're doing with the book is we're going to be, even if it's not like a scheduled thing with Sound Archive books, like we're going to talk about the book. We're going to talk about Madison County at all of our shows. And I know that we've got a lot of stuff coming up, outside of just the stuff that we're doing with Sound Archive books. We're going to be I think we're coming to Macon, y'all. I just got confirmation that we're coming to Macon in October. So,
okay, good.
Yeah, so we're going to be in Knoxville and down in Macon and again over in like the eastern part of the state here in North Carolina, Hop and John Festival. So lots of different things. And William and I are doing ADL Fest this weekend, which is sort of like Asheville's new Belshare in a way. That's kind of how I feel about it. But it just incorporates all the venues and stuff. But at the end of the day, we're from Madison County and that's our spot. So we're always going to be repping. Although I do tell people about Macon and H&H all the time.
As you should.
Or talk about it to everybody. I tell everybody to go down there.
It's just not a better way to start your day than H&H.
Or end your afternoon. I agree.
That's true.
I'd be there 3 times a day if I could.
I'd do a lot of things for that squash casserole.
It's so good. I can't wait. Mitchell, you're going to have to go.
I know. I'm ready.
We're talking you into it right now.
I'm ready. I've been actually working with Hubble Beasley over at Capricorn, and we're trying to organize what would be really interesting and right up your lane too, calling it the Panic Memory Project, where we at Capricorn would.
Yes, please.
Yeah. So I think it's in the works. Seriously, it's in the works for. We just want to coordinate with the band and make sure we're not playing it for a weekend when they're having a show and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, hopefully sometime in February next year right now we're looking at. So maybe I'll make a little scouting trip down there and then hopefully be there in February.
Can I come? I want to come. Can I come on
Yes.
I just want to, I'll be a sidekick. I'll carry your bags or whatever. I would do that for H&H and Macon.
It's worth it.
It's totally, it's that good.
Well, thank you so much for this conversation today and telling us more about Madison County and Rare Bird Farms and all the fun things you're getting into, Donna Ray. And I can't wait to see all this come to fruition. And then I'm going to have to come visit and y'all will have to come here. So road trips for everybody.
Love a road trip.
Nice sister city relationship for sure. I like it.
That's right. Mm-hmm. Well, thank you both for being here with us for the Sound and Soul of the South. And just talking more about the storyline of the music of the southern part of the U.S.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for having us.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Okay, so first off, Great job, Susie. Great job. That was a great conversation with Donna Ray and Mitchell, talking about all the great things. Redbird Farm, it seems like it is just a beautiful place. As he said, to not only go play, but as he was talking about wanting to do in a little while, have an artist residency out there, which I feel
Yes.
like would be great to write music in.
Well, after that conversation, now there's no way I can't not go visit.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to have to go see this for my own two eyes and experience this music come to life. And I can't wait to read more about the books and hear more about the music. And it just, there again, Madison County, North Carolina sounds like one of those places that the music comes from.
Yeah, yeah, it does. And it's good to know that, no matter where you are in the South, there are pockets of this country that you might not think have a deep and wide ranging current music scene. And even though you have a lot of these artists, doing these Appalachian ballads and the Nest of the Singing Birds, as Donna Ray was talking about, you have these historical things, but there's a live music scene down there. And when she said you could hear music pretty much any night of the week in Madison, there are big cities in this country that would die for that kind of concert lineup. And they have it right there in Madison County. So
That's right.
Shout out to Mitchell, shout out to Donna Ray for everything that they're doing. Thank you.
Doing the good work.
Yes, they are. That's exactly what they're doing. And once again, it's just another example of what you can experience when you travel in the South and do this little music tourism thing. It's a great thing. You can learn a lot and hear some great music at the same time. So with that being said, thank you, Mitchell and Donna Ray, once again. Thank you, Susie Cowan, for the great interview once again. And until next week, I am Charles Davis. She is Susie Cowan. We'll see y'all next time.